he was kind of like the tough love older brother. But love, like for real. Like I mean, that guy, he did so much for me early on. He taught me so much. The first time we wrestled, every time we wrestled, beat the hell out of me. I don't. I swear he hit me so hard one time I grew a tooth. I know that sounds insane, uh, but no, I think some of the hardest I've ever been hit in wrestling was with him. Some of the hardest I've ever hit was hitting him, and just some of the best learning experiences from him. Reacting on the fly, listening to the people, making decisions based off that, having a game plan, but being ready to being professional enough and smart enough and talented enough and skilled enough to change it when need be. Because we had matches where stuff went wrong. Hell, the very first time I wrestled him, he was supposed to not squash me, but 6 to 8, do what you can, underdog, underdog.
Mm-hmm.
But so he goes to give me this stampede, and we hit the buckle, and it makes the big clank and everything, and he gives me this big loud power slam, and he's like, "Oh, never mind." He's like, "Never mind, brother. That's it. We don't need the power driver." And he covers me, and he tells the ref count 3, and the ref doesn't.
Oh boy.
And he loses his mind. He's like, "Who taught you how to count?" Like he's full heel mode and also angry Adam mode. And he's yelling at this dude because the dude totally fucked up. I mean, it is what it is. But luckily, Adam was such an established heel that him yelling like this just felt like Adam yelling. It was completely in character in that moment too. And then he goes to grab me, and he just whispers, "Small package, don't fuck it up." And I was like, "Oh shit!" So I roll him up, and the ref counts 1, 2, 3. Like Adam said, this is the new finish. So I ended up going over on Adam the very first time we wrestled,
Just on the
and
fly.
just on the fly. And again, I learned from that. He scoop slammed me on the floor during that match. That felt like a welcome um, to the industry. Like, hey, sometimes it really hurts. Here you
Yeah.
go.
Oh.
But and I just, what's funny too? I remember being so scared to take his pile driver. I don't know why. It always looked so good, no matter who he gave it to, no matter how big, no matter how small, and I was scared. So when he gave me that power slam, and we got the big clank of the buckle in the corner, huge slam, and then he was like, "Oh, that's perfect." I was like, "Oh, thank God." And then when he didn't count 3, I was just like, "Oh, fuck, what's next?" Like I was so scared what was coming next, and then I ended up winning.
And who would have
But
thought,
no,
that he's gone on to do so much? Like what a run he's had in his career
I
and
mean, it's
where he's at
if
now.
you knew him and you watched him carry himself with the confidence and that he had, and the way he would control a room and help everyone, good, you know what I mean? It's like
It
again,
was
he's
evident.
full blown coach mode, he good or bad, you're getting his criticism and you're gonna learn from it. And it's just that confidence to do that and to always hand out the help or the scolding if need be, because sometimes guys screw up and they just got to hear about it from somebody, and he'd be happy to do it, and that's important. I think it's just being able to manage both those,
Mhm.
both those lanes so well. I mean, I'm not surprised. He's creative as hell. He's funny as hell. He's a damn good wrestler, though. That's is the mark in me will always hope that he laces him up in WWE. He's
Yeah.
gotten physical. He's teased it, and I
Yeah.
bet I bet he. Well, no, he probably freaking doesn't want to bump ever again. But man, I want him to.
Every time he teases it, there's people who are like, "Oh, could he have just one match with Roman? Could he have just one match with
Oh
whoever?"
man, him and Roman would be so good.
Yeah, and I loved like his feud with Colt Cabana and the seven
Oh
levels
yeah,
of
man.
hate and
It's
all that.
I was literally standing, 20 feet from the rings, by my merch with one other wrestler and then a fan. Some little kid was just watching next to us, and we watched Adam and Colt, and we watched that last match. Where he wrapped it up. And it was pretty crazy to be there and see that. I was glad I got to be there for that, especially such a good view. I snuck after my match. I got cleaned up and I went and just snuck on that side because I was like, well, I don't want to miss this. Adam's been a huge part of my every, especially early on. So many of my biggest steps were, in part helped thanks to him. So it was cool to be able to see him go out in the way he wanted and then still thrive afterward.